Hi, Garrett Christopher here. So here we have part 2 of my Rant 2, talking about the Miami Dolphins and specifically Xavien Howard and contractual agreements. By the way, please visit GaretChristopher.com and you can find out kind of who I am. I'm a self-published author and I now have 3 YouTube channels. This one, also Garrett's Movies Take, as well as Garrett's Take, just talking about stuff in general. And this topic, talking about contracts, could actually be on that channel, but it's kind of sports infused. And with training camp just opening up yesterday, and with a message sent by Xavien Howard to the world, I wanted to talk about it. So Xavien Howard is making $15.1 million a year, okay? And I don't want to make money the thing. That's not my goal here. You know, whether he's making 20 million or 200,000, I don't want to make it that. But it is that kind of. It is that a little bit, right? Because it comes to certain levels, kind of like, how can you look in the mirror making $15.1 million a year, almost $1 million a game, and say to yourself, I don't feel appreciated? How can you think that? I don't get it. I don't get it. At the same time, he's not the only one. It's not just Xavien Howard. It's, you know, even people that I love, all right, sports icons across the world, and I will defend them. I will defend Kobe and LeBron and Mookie Betts and all that are making humongous amounts of money, right? They're not turning it away. Neither would I, okay? And I've never had the chance to make that kind of money, not even close to it. So I don't know what I would do in certain cases, but I can tell you this, I wouldn't turn it away, not at all. But if I'm on a team that didn't make it to the playoffs last year, right? I'm an all-pro, that's great, wonderful. And I signed an extension 2 years ago for 5 years for $75 million. Now in football, you know, these contracts, there's a certain number that's guaranteed and the rest can go bye-bye. You get injured. He gets injured next year. His guaranteed money he keeps, and the rest, you know, I don't know all the ins and outs, but in football, that's the one sport where longevity is definitely a factor, right? We talked about that. But, you know, you put your teammate, your other corner, Byron Jones, on blast, right? You're not saying you hate him, despise him, but you're saying, yeah, the other guy, I'm not even the highest paid on my own team. Okay, we brought in a guy, yeah, had to pay him. He's been in the league longer than you, and he's been darn good and right there along with you. Last year he wasn't. He had kind of an off year, but trust me, he's been there right with you. Yeah, we had to pay him to get. Wouldn't you be happy that, hey, it's not just me and a bunch of rookies, right? Or a bunch of second-tier players. Now we can lock it down. The outsides are locked down, baby. No problem. No, instead we're going to fuss. First day in training camp, we're going to put out this 7, paragraph statement about how we don't feel appreciated, how this other guy makes more than us, a lot more than us, and how it's just craziness. You know, want to be traded, all this kind of stuff. You didn't make it to the playoffs last year. So evidently, what you're doing, as great as it is, wasn't quite enough. A quarterback, if the quarterback had said the same thing, I want to get paid. Okay, but you were 9-7 last year, 10-6, whatever. Didn't make it to the playoffs, but you want to get paid. Why should we pay you? Because you're getting better? Because the potential is there? Because you're really good at your position, and yet the people around you. Now, again, cornerback, you know, yes, as far as the scheme and all that, yes, you can help out as far as the deep end, you know, the medium routes, all that kind of thing, but you're kind of on an island. And Xavien for sure is kind of on an island, right? And for the most part, teams leave him alone. They don't want to get the interception, and he will take him. What do you have, 10 last year? But I just, you know, kind of put yourself in there. What are we trying to do? Teams over the span of history that have been successful and have had success over a long period of time have been guided by ownership, by general managers, especially by coaches, managers, whatever, that had a particular mindset that we're going to do this. Now, I'm not saying go with the Patriots way, the Bill Belichick way, and perhaps underpay your players, right? Tom Brady stuck around for a long, long time and gave himself, again, giving of yourself because you're not making this much million, but this much million, you know, but, you know, there's something to be said about that as well. I'm not saying do that, but you're making 15 point, I think he's the fifth highest paid cornerback in the league. He was number 1 when he signed the extension. But that's what happens, right? You set the bar. Xavien, Mr. Howard, excuse me, I don't know you. Mr. Howard, you set the bar 2 years ago, and then guys started to jump over it. Well, now you want to get a little more than that. And supposedly, you and your agent have talked about ways with the team that will not hurt the salary cap, but you'll still feel appreciated. You'll still feel like, you're getting paid and you want to be the top dog on your squad. I don't know how long negotiations have gone on. I do know it was only 2 years ago in a 5-year extension. I can see it was year 4, year 5. It's year 3. I don't think it's right. And I don't think it's right to come in and right off the bat put that cloud over the team. You're trying to make the playoffs. Just get in the playoffs. And it's not going to be easy because the Bills are going to win that division. I'm sorry, they're more of a complete team. And I haven't heard anything about it. They're not starting a bunch of mess. You know what I'm saying? But here you are. We're going to start a bunch of mess. I have a hard time with someone looking in the mirror and they're making $1 million a game, just about, and saying, I don't feel appreciated. How did you feel when you signed it 2 years ago? And he even says in his quote there, I didn't quite know what I was signing. Okay? Well, that's what your agent is for, to explain everything to you. But you're bringing up very plainly that it's about the money you're making, not about everything else that goes with it, but 15.1 versus 16.5 that Mr. Jones is making. You made it very plain like that. You didn't understand? Someone couldn't show you that 5 into 75 is 15? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Let's think about this for a second. You're making $15 million. At the time, you were the number 1 paid cornerback in the league. And then shortly after, guys jumped over it. Now you're number 5. Still not bad. And it's like, how about if we just make the playoffs? And how about, now I don't know. Maybe Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, has kind of dug in and said things to him and called his mom a name and talked about, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings as far as that's concerned with the Miami Dolphins. But I don't think it's the way to go into training camp or into the season. So I know there are situations where these baseball teams, claim this, and certain football teams claim this, and it's not the truth. Oh, we're losing money, and they're not really losing money, but they say that's why they can't pay certain people and that kind of a thing. And then you have overspenders and that whole thing, right? It's all greed. We know that on the players and the coaches, ownership, excuse me. So that's there. That's a given. I'm sorry, but greed is a given. No problem. But I don't know. If I am the owner of the Miami Dolphins, and unfortunately now, Mr. Howard has backed me into a corner because he has said, I want to trade. So now teams are going to underbid as far as, and heck, at this point, you're probably going to get a 4th or a 5th rounder and some defensive end that comes off the bench. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get tit for tat. You're not going to get that because he's put it out there and teams can hang back and say, okay, well, he's not happy. So he might go into the season, but yeah, we'll get him. No problem. And now we have this cloud over the team. It's not good. If I'm the owner, I might bite the bullet and just say, you know what? Let's get it off the books. And even that is not going to help the salary cap a lot this year, but let's get it off there. Take what we can get back and let's get it out there. I'd rather make that precedence than pay him, than go back in and, you know what, Xavien, you're right. Let's renegotiate. Let's put you at $16.8 million a year. How's that? Could we do that? 3, 4, 5, extend a year beyond that and go from there. What does it tell the rest of the players? I'd rather do the opposite and say, you know what, Chris, let's find a partner in this and take here's what I'd like to get, see what we can get for him, and let's move on. And there it is. That's my take on this. Please, I want the comments. I sound like I'm all on the end of the corporations and the owners, so like that, and I'm not. I despise Jerry Jones, but in this case, I don't think it's the right way to go into the season. I just don't. I'm Garrett Christopher. This is Garet's Sports Take, and I thank you for checking in. Next topic, I have no idea what it's going to be, but myself and on behalf of myself and Aquaman, thanks so much for checking us out. All right, take care. GaretChristopher.com. GoPro, stop recording. 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 GoPro, stop. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. I was turning off. How's that?